So, I think you shouldn't waste your time interviewing me. I think, so, what's it like to be a beautiful person?
Very easy.
Really? Really?
So how long are you in town for?
Hold on, wait, we're having this important conversation here. So, and then if people only love you for your body, good morning, Chris. Okay.
We're good. We're ready. Everyone's rolling.
How many bloody cameras do you have? Okay. So, I was conceived in the back of a Holden station wagon on Bondi Beach, and everything's been uphill since then. Is that what you?
Yeah, this is your Tristram Shandy. Let's go back to the conception. We'll start there. And
I mean, what do you expect? I mean, when you're a bastard, you have to do bastard things. You know?
Thank you so much.
You know, can you just kind of wander around in the background as much as possible, please? It's an aesthetic.
She'll be back.
It works.
What led to the installation? What happened in between that birth and this installation that they've roped you into?
Need. I think need is what is it? Why the fuck? What are you gonna do? Mothers, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Let them be lawyers and doctors and such. That's what Willie Nelson told us. In other words, don't be an artist, because it's not stable. I don't know where I'm going to be next week. I don't know where my next film is. You ask me what's my best film, I say it's my next film.
Yeah.
People ask me to do stuff in 6 months from now. I don't even know if I'm going to be live in 6 months from now, and I don't give a shit. So, I think that balance between, I think that the wonderful thing about youth is you have all the questions. And the wonderful thing about age is there's no answer. Isn't that fucking great? The question's still there. I'm 61 years old. The questions are still the same. When you're 20, you think you're looking for an answer. When you're older, you realize, no, you're looking for the question. And that's what it's about. And that's why I'm so proud of, for example, 75 different cameras shooting me at this moment. Beautiful women giving us Irish whiskey, by the way. What more do you want in life?
Yeah.
So the questions are important. And if we didn't have the questions, we wouldn't be here today together, and sharing it with 75 different cameras and beautiful women giving us whiskey. So the questions are the thing. And you have to keep asking the questions.
So what are the questions that your producing partner, who's 29, what are the questions?
I think the questions are who are we? Of course, that's the basic one. That's always the basic one. Who am I? Who are we? Why am I straight instead of being gay? Why don't I put a cock in my mouth, instead of a pussy in my, the usual, the normal questions, right? Why do I care about breasts as opposed to dicks? So that's the number one question. The second question, of course, is why do I dare to, for example, sit in front of you in a bar and talk about this stuff? Why would I dare to actually try to share? And why do you dare to engage me? That's a very important question. Why do we dare to actually open our mouths? Why don't we just sit there behind a calculator or a computer and be anonymous? be the invisible great people? Because maybe, for some reason, we think that we have something to share. Why would you put your cock in a woman, or a man? Why would you? In my case, why would I dare to make a film? Because, okay, actually, you're going to tell me if it's relevant or not. It's not me saying, hey, oh, superstar Chris, It's the opposite. It's like, shit, I don't know who the fuck I am. I want to learn from you. You will tell me if what we're saying is cognizant, if we're communicating. It's the same as a date. It's the same as a marriage. It's the same as what kind of beer you drink. It's very much about, so what can we share? That's it. So if I have something to share with you, then the date might end up in bed. If I have nothing to share with you, you're going to say, thank you very much, you pay your own tab. That's what we're doing.
So when you made this installation, you're going through stuff you've made, are you picking out the things that you felt you shared, like the most important things?
No, because it's extremely difficult. You're supposed to kind of come through no, you're supposed to go through. How many cameras do we have?
4.
Okay. And then you're supposed to do this kind of, Chris, would you like another drink? Moment. Let's try. Chris, would you like another drink?
To this man or to this
Doesn't
man?
mean-
Who's on first? Both.
Chris, would you like another drink?
I'm not sure, but if you insist.
Oh.
Okay. That was theatrical, right? So, I don't know. It's like what we're doing here. It's like, so how does it communicate? I mean, your questions are more theoretical than my answers. I think the great pleasure is that what I've noticed, and I whether it's in my personal life or in my film life, which I don't think are separated, you get what I am. And I think that's a very important thing to embrace. That you can't pretend to be Steven Spielberg. You cannot pretend to be James Cameron. You cannot pretend to be, whoever. Cameron Diaz, right? If you're not Cameron Diaz, you're not Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're not, and I think that's very important. That what's the word? I really believe that, as we are doing now, that who I am is how I communicate with you and with the people who are watching this experience or sharing this experience. So you can't fake it.
Yep.
You can't fake it. So this American Idol bullshit and all that, this faking of reality is not the real reality is who we are. And I think even though I'm usually making feature films, the real reality is Gong Li is right in your face. You feel how she is. That you feel how Zhang Zi is. You feel how even Mickey Rourke is, because I've done films with Mickey. I think that's the important thing. Is to eliminate the distance, to make the communication as direct as possible, as we're trying to do with a little bit of help from Jameson. And I think that's what it's about. It's about being as true as you can be to who you are, as fucked up as you may be, or as artistic as you may be, or as elegant as you may be, or as macho as you may be, Stallone, Jackie Chan, or as fragile as you may be, Juno Temple, in Magic. What do you say? And that's what I think our quest and our journey and the reason we're here today, to me, is to take away the veil, is to be as true as possible. to be as fragile as we are, to be as drunk as we are, to be as hopefully, I don't like the word, but honest, I guess, is the only word I can find in English. In Chinese, I know the word, but and 真实, I think that, and then people. My mother's calling me. She's been listening all night to what we've been saying. Maybe I should turn off my phone. No. I'll turn it off. No, I think that's I think that's really what it's about. I think it's if you and I are not talking directly, then they won't believe what we're saying.
Yeah.
If we're not, if we don't have the integrity of this conversation, then it's bullshit. It's the same in film. If you're not communicating to the audience through me, then I failed. And that's the beauty of my work, I think, is to be there as a lover, as a theoretical lover, as a confidant, as someone who cares so much about you, who wants to connect with you. Therefore, the audience knows what you're doing. So there's only three people in cinema, in my definition. It's the person in front of the camera, it's the audience, and it's me as the medium between the two. And there's things I have to do as that medium. I have to encourage you, like as we're doing here. Have another drink, be comfortable. Feel how I care about you. You know I love you. And then you dare to give something of yourself. But you're not giving it to me. Actually, you are giving it to me through me to the audience. It's an astonishing experience. It's like, it's the best sex you could ever have. Is to be a camera person. Because you don't have to sleep with anybody, because every moment of your day you're engaging with them and you're sharing with the audience how people feel about people. I mean, how people feel about Jameson.
Did you find yourself more honest when you made
Me honest? I'm a man. How can you be honest? You're a man. That's a contradiction in terms.
Were you closer?
Men are liars, Men try to pretend that their thing is bigger than their mind. As Robert Williams said, God gave man a brain and a penis, but not enough blood for both. That's true. If you're thinking, you're not wanking. If you're fucking, you're not thinking. This is it. Isn't that the incredible predicament of man? And then the good thing is that some people, by the way, who happen to be close by us now, they realize how ridiculous men are. And then they for some reason, they realize that they're our mothers. They're the reason we're here. And they sort of embrace it and they say, it's okay, we'll work it out. I think that's the process of a film also. It's, okay, we know you're fucked up, but you came from us, but we'll work it out. I think that's exactly what filmmaking is about. It's like motherhood. You came out of me, first of all, somebody put something in me, and something came out, and then, okay, it's mine, and I've got to embrace it. I think that's exactly what filmmaking is about. It's about motherhood. It's about the process of how we exist. And we put something in, something came out, we have to embrace it, and we have to be magnanimous as women are. I'm not sure that most men are like. I think most men try to control that process, but actually at the end of the day, it's our mothers, our women, who tell us what it's really about.
How does that apply to the film you made, Away with Words, and then your short film in Paris Je t'aime? Like, what was the experience like?
Well, first of all, Paris Je t'aime is my current girlfriend. There's three. Paris Je t'aime is 3 women. My ex-wife, I hate that word. Chen Shi, I like the word in Chinese. Chen Shi.
What's the difference?
You can't say ex. Nobody's ex.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's ex ever in life. What, if you love them, and you wanted to go somewhere together, and perhaps you didn't get there, or you turned back, but there's no ex, it's still going on. So Gabrielle, I was married to for a certain period of time, is my producer when I do films in France or in Europe. So there's no ex. I mean, in fact, it's the most absolute love I've ever known in my life. And then the cinematographer is my girlfriend at the time, and the actress is another girlfriend. So what the fuck am I doing? So I guess I'm saying Paris Je t'aime,
Yeah.
I think you're trying to, unconsciously you're trying to address, what are the questions of, as we said, what are the questions of life? And I think if you don't do it in the way you live and work, then it's a pastiche. Then it's a, I think, if you look at, I get the feeling there's some Jameson coming.
I haven't had lunch, so I'm going to draw my line.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I want to finish the interview not on the floor, the bar.
How about a half shot?
All right.
Half shot. Fill it up.
I'm currently drinking Chris Doyle under the table. Let's do this.
I think it's more important. Turn your cameras turn this way. What do you think about all this bullshit I'm saying?
All of this bullshit?
Yeah.
About exes? I really liked what you said about exes.
Chen Shi, is that the word?
Yeah.
What does that
But no, seriously, in your life, does this matter? All this, like exigence and how people are together.
Why am I a part of the interview now?
You have to be, because it's important.
Okay.
It seems to me that you believe some of what I said.
Yeah.
Why
You can say
would-
you didn't. Let's
No.
be honest.
No, I liked what you said about exes. About how no one's really
There's no X. There's no X in life, right?
just something that happens. But
No, it's like I say, my best film is my next film. I think you always have to have that optimism, in this extraordinarily pessimistic period of history that we're going through, I think you have to have, why are you giving us shots,
Because there's a mountain, and then there's no mountain, and then there's a mountain.
Aha. Do you know the expression?
no.
有山无山无有山. Yeah. So you think there's a mountain, which might be a bottle of Jameson.
Or this interview.
Or this interview. Then you say, it doesn't matter, therefore you sit with us, right? Then you say, there is a mountain because you actually have to express yourself. Isn't that a valid definition? It's the same if I make a film. So they say, here we have this idea. And that's called There Is a Mountain. And then there is no mountain because it's you and me, the 3 of us, or the 5 of us, and the 7 of us over there. We're going to do it together. So there's no mountain. How come others are... He got drunk before we did. Okay, so there is a mountain which is a project, or for example today's interview. That's the mountain. Then there is no mountain because we actually get along together, right? then there is a mountain, because then what the fuck are we gonna do with it? You know, that's what it's all about. It's an astonishingly beautiful, what's the word, analysis of how things should be. First, there is a mountain, which is, oh, hello, what's your name? Secondly, there is no mountain because we're having a drink together. Then there is a mountain because we don't know what to do with each other, right? Right? And it's the same in film. First, there is a script, you know. Then there is, we actually have to fucking shoot this thing. Then there is no mountain because we have no choice, because that's what it is. I think in all endeavors it's the same thing. Whether it's in sexual relationships, or the pleasure of meeting someone, whether it's in filmmaking, it's always first there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is.
First there was a microphone.
He wants to
then there was none.
You can't suck my dick in his bar. I'm sorry.
I love you, bro. I just met you.
It's too small.
I'm sorry, were you addressing me or Brian?
Oh.
But there's a good example.
No, but
We're gonna go back to thinking for a second.
no. You've hit. You must. In this interview, you must show this fantastic. It's called "Meet Fujiyama and Die," from fuck, I forget his name. A gay photographer, and it's basically a picture of his underwear with an erection. As meet Fuji. Good morning, Chris. So we're moving on.
So you developed a style. First, you had to like develop your place.
No, I don't. I think it's supposed there is a mountain, there's no mountain.
Yeah.
I think that very much how we work is like this the pleasure of this space is evolving. It's about the space itself. By the way, you've chosen an astonishingly intimate space for me. This is the kind of space I live in. Secondly, we respond to it. We're looking for how we talk to each other, you know. And so it's organic. This interview is not processed by 1, 2, 3 questions. It's us in this space together, trying to work out how the fuck to talk to each other. And I think films are, and great films, and most of the films I've done are like that, which is a process. Now, and the process is based in 2 very basic elements, which is the people who are doing it together and the space in which we work. So, when Neil Jordan asked me, you know, how come all your films are different visually, I was kind of shocked because Neil, because they're all shot in different locations with different people. So it's not me articulating, denigrating, you know, controlling. You know, I'm not James Cameron. I'm not fucking, even Night Shyamalan. You know, we're not. We're the opposite. We're taking the space in which we work and the people with whom we work as the basis of how the work evolves. So there's no style to the film. The style comes from, there's no style in the Western concept. The style comes from the space, the process, the limitations we have, the people with whom we work. So it's not me imposing something on the film. It's the film emerging from those characteristics, those conditions, including weather, including all the stuff, including the money we have. So the film is not a style. It's a predicament.
So what did Neil Jordan want? What did James Ivory want when they hired you? Like if they're seeing this.
By the way, they didn't hire me.
Oh.
They called me.
I see. So when you agreed,
I've never been hired
Yeah.
in my life. Nobody can hire me, right? I mean, are you kidding? You're gonna hire this piece of shit? I wouldn't. It's a big mistake. Nobody hires me.
well, what are they looking
say,
for?
I think they what's the word? It's almost, I think people who work with me approach me like a fucking stupa in an Indian temple, you know. So what the fuck are we gonna do with this big prick, you know, in front of our eyes, you know?
The spanner in the works.
Yeah, and I think it's the same with women. It's the same with, you know, that you know you're in for trouble, but is this trouble worth it? And I think I'm very proud that in most cases, the people who've engaged in this trouble have actually come out relatively unscathed. You know, and I think that's what you need in life. You need a little bit of troublemakers. You need people like me. You need people who are not like Ai Weiwei. You need, you know, with whom I collaborate. You need something that throws a spanner in the works, just to see what works.
Yeah.
I think that's the real function of the spanner in the works, which is me, is to see what really works. Also, because, you know, people get complacent if they're not disturbed. You know, why do you have punk rock? Why do you have why do you have alternative? Why do you have, you know, Greenpeace and stuff like that? You know, some of their process maybe you're not totally in accord with, but the function is important to remind us that this is what it's about. And ultimately, believe it or not, I'm not patting myself on the back, but ultimately that we make films that actually have a different energy than if we just made another franchise, right? If we were just safe. And the great thing about art is it reminds you is the questions are we just said earlier, the questions are important. The answers, there's no real answer. But the questions are important. So I think it's really important to keep on asking the questions.
What about the directors you return to, like a Stanley Kwan or like a Chen Kaige or a Wong Kar-wai? What is the experience like for you when you're not just being phoned by James Ivory, but it's someone you've worked with before? Do they know what they're getting? Are they looking for that specifically? Do you build on a relationship, or?
I think there's two things that happen and why you work again and again with somebody. One is that you fill in each other's gaps. So, you know, that you fill in, you know, the I know I have something you don't have. You know that. That's beautiful. That's any, I mean, sex is like that. It should be, you know. It should be, oh, I didn't know this, I could feel this way until you taught me how to feel this way. Secondly, of course, there's trust. Again, I think filmmaking is like good sex, you know. It is this balance between the unexpected and the giving and taking of experience. And secondly, it's the familiarity of I trust this person to take me somewhere I wouldn't go alone. That's important.
What about your move into Japanese cinema? Like there are two films. You have your pink film, which we were talking about on the cab right here, and you said you'd save it, and then 3D as well. Those are two things I want to talk about.
Well, this is it. I mean, you have to. I've never bungee jumped, but I think in cinema, 3D and Japanese pink films is a kind of a bungee. So you gotta do something you have no idea what you do. I think that's important. You have to go somewhere you have no idea where you're going, and trust that experience will give you something you never would have done alone. I think even the same, to me, sometimes Hollywood films are the same feeling. I despise the system. I have no understanding of why they're still going on this way. And then somebody I care about asks me to do something. I say, okay. For example, when I worked with Shyamalan on a film called Lady in the Water, and there's like 650 people on set. And I'm thinking, what? And then we did 3 months of storyboarding, which I've never done in my life. 3 months, like, writing every shot. And I said, why am I doing this? And then I realized, because if I can do this, I can do anything. So I think that's you challenge yourself to stuff that you wouldn't do personally, you wouldn't have chosen. Lady in the Water was like a huge challenge to me. And the real challenge to me was to say, can I be the master to the commander?
Yeah.
That's what it was about. That I could be, and I realized I could, because every day I have to talk to like 350 people. So I have to be a leader. And that's what creativity is about. It's also, that's why we have Nelson Mandela, or Mother Teresa, or the Dalai Lama, because we need leadership. We need a certain amount of leadership. I'm not saying I'm any of those, but in my little world, you have to have that integrity. And that integrity, where does it come from? It has to come from yourself. It has to come from your, to be an artist, to make art, you have to be an artist. You have to get there. And how you get there is, many people have different ways to get there, but mostly it's through living. It's very simple, actually. So filmmaking, hopefully, is about life experience, shared, or given a different form, or given a different resonance, or perhaps structured in a different way. That's what, to me, filmmaking is about. And if we hadn't lived, if we hadn't had these Jameson whiskeys, if we hadn't had this conversation today, then the next film wouldn't exist. It's that simple. It's really that simple.
But what about the beginning? Like Edward Yang, I love Edward Yang's films. What was that like for you? Like,
You're such an intellectual, huh?
No, like there's a pure just like feeling, right? Like you watch an Edward Yang film, it's just, it hits you. It's not necessarily intellectual. What, like, that's your beginning. What based on what you just said, did you learn from that experience? Was it what you were expecting? Was it not? The film being That Day on the Beach.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to be actually. I think there's a very important, and I think for Canadian filmmakers also, there's a very important resonance that when we did That Day on the Beach, which is my first film as a cinematographer. I'd never done anything before. I'd never been a cinematographer before. It was like it's a huge jump, with huge support and huge conflict in the Taiwanese film industry. And I think that the most important thing, and it relates to very much to how Chinese film developed afterwards, is that we embraced our mistakes. We knew we're trying to make, I think we were trying to destroy a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if we built anything new. We definitely built a new cinema, but we're still working on how to repair the damage.
What's the damage?
The damage is the destruction of a studio system. you know, which was quite strong until we started to make these films. So you know, but that's I think that's too eclectic for most of the people who are watching this. I think that the great pleasure was, okay, we're giving women a voice, we're making a film about women, we're making it in our own way, and nobody knows what the fuck we're doing. So it opened, I think, you know, as did, you know, the fifth generation films in China. I think it was about energy. And I think it's always about energy. That's why I'm investing so much now in young first-time directors, because it has to be about energy. Because if you don't have the energy, if you don't have the need to communicate, then it's just a pastiche. And it's, you know, Fast and Furious 6, right?
I hear it's good.
Yeah, but it's Fast and Furious 6. Yeah. So wouldn't you rather make, you know, Fast and Not So Furious? One? I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to make Slow and Not So Furious one. I think that's important. And we'll fuck up and we'll make mistakes and we won't know what we're doing, and it won't be perfect, but at least it's ours.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the most important thing. And I think I know you have a few. Don't forget, you have Leonard Cohen. You know, you have a few people who have a voice. You know,
Neil Young.
And I think, and they're rare. You know, the people that have a voice are rare, but it's the people looking for their voice are the most important. I think that's it. That's the most engaging. So the questions, once again, I go back to the same thing. The questions are important.
Is that why you work with Pennek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The questions are important. That we're not perfect. We're not cinema geniuses. But if we don't do it, who's going to do it? I think that's really important. You know, just do it. I mean, I think I should get some sponsorship from Nike. Just do it. You know?
So you've worked with Stanley Kwan again. You've worked with Peter Chan again. It's been a success. You've worked with Chen Kaige again.
Yeah.
What about Wong Kar-wai? What's happened there? Anything?
Time.
Time.
The time he made The Grandmaster, I've made like 10 films.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think he should come up to my speed.
I feel like the two of you are personalities that are so strong.
Of course.
Yeah.
We love each other intensely, and we know that we fill in each other's gaps, and we know that the way that it works because it is this yin-yang kind of thing. This you know, such different personalities engaging in a very direct way. But I'd rather make 5 films a year than 1 film every 5 years.
Yeah. Is it hard as a cinematographer, like the Happy Together, like your diaries during Happy Together, kind of just not having any idea what's happening, just shooting a lot of stuff and having no idea? Does that drain you?
As opposed to this interview?
That's good.
Jameson, we need our love.
You're not drinking your Quebecois beer.
Hold on.
You want a James?
No, but we want to, because we're going to pass we're going to cross the question on to you. This is the important one.
Like I mentioned Happy Together now with the conversation's been...
Can you sit? Okay, here we go. Now.
Who else?
So.
No, I'm kidding.
So, are men draining?
Are men draining? Yeah.
It's the same thing, because he asked me as...
I found your pressure point, which seems to be Happy Together, and I've hit it, and now... I love Happy Together. I love that movie.
Are you gay?
No, and that's why I love it, I think.
Why is he not gay?
Because it's so...
You're so fuckable. I mean,
Do you want one?
Of course, they all want one.
We do want one.
Yeah, everyone wants one.
everybody want one?
Yeah, everyone must have one.
But it's Buenos Aires. It's there's something about it.
This is so cool. This is so cool. The camera's still rolling. Yeah, this is exactly what it should. Okay, so it's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's all your
Drinking to
fault.
what?
We're drinking to your beauty.
Jess Forrest. Her name's Jessica.
Jess Forrest. It's not Jessica. That's crazy.
Jess.
Crazy.
Okay.
So draining.
I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, please.
Do you have cooties?
You're safe.
Was Happy Together draining? Was it a draining experience?
So there I was. You don't know the film, right?
Happy Together?
Good. The best story about Happy Together is, so Happy Together is about two young men who happen to be lovers. The important thing about Happy Together is that we've made so many films in Hong Kong, and they become so quote unquote iconic. So what the fuck are we going to do next? So we went to the furthest place you can get from Hong Kong, which is Buenos Aires. It takes like 46 hours to get to Buenos Aires from Hong Kong. And we took the two most important actors in Chinese cinema, and we just threw them into this mess, right? And that was the principle. But the result was, in the process of making the film, we realized we're really only talking about our own identity. It was very interesting. It was like, we went to the end of the world. We actually went to the end of the world. Like
The bottom of it.
We were 1,000 kilometers from Antarctica, from the South Pole. And all of the process of the film is about trying to disorient yourself. And the only answer was, we are who we are. You know, home is where the heart is. It was such an astonishing experience, because we'd made these films, and they were so popular, blah 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 blah, and then we say, no, we got to do something different, and we realized actually we're just making the same film. I think that's that's what people are about. It's about recognition. It's about assertion. It's about, for example, as we see here, confidence. It's about why would you trust someone? It's all about the simple things which actually, you imagine our middle class bullshit, but actually they are so basic to who we are. And Happy Together, two gay men in Argentina, lost out of their minds, but all they really want is just to hold each other.
It's a great film. It's a great film.
Don't tell my mother, okay? So I tell you the story. So it starts with them boom-booming, right? I mean, by the way, I'm the only person who knows what really happened. And I'm not going to tell you. And then it was so fantastic. So I was born in Australia, right? And my mother is like VIP at the Sydney Film Festival. And then the Sydney Film Festival calls me, and they say, we're going to show Happy Together. I said, really? I said, yes. What are we going to do about your mother? I said, oh, what do you mean? Well, don't you remember the film? I wasn't there. So the only sex scene happens like at the beginning of the film. So I say, what time does the film start? They say 7:30. I said, tell my mother to come at 8 o'clock. So she doesn't see the two guys. Yeah, and then everything else is very sweet, you know. After that, they're just wandering around Argentina, you know, and they're having, you know. So that was the point, you know. Don't tell my mother. Don't, as long as she doesn't see the boom boom scene, then we're okay.
What about the Pink film, though?
Pink. You know what pink is?
Pink?
Tell us what
Color?
you think. Yes, tell us. Tell us your interpretation.
It's kind of like red but lighter.
That's a good.
That's a good translation. So pink films are like the dogma of Japanese filmmaking. So first of all, you have to shoot on 35mm film. Next, no sound. So it's all post-synced. Secondly, you have to shoot it in 1 week, because at the time, like there's these cinemas which would, like, you know, they need new product every week. So you have to shoot it really fast. Next thing is nose has to be 35 minutes. I have to have a sex scene every 5 minutes. But it's not sex. It's like you see tits, and that's about it, right? So we introduced the new concept of the musical. So you have sex every 5 minutes, and you have singing every 7 minutes, right?
Kind of like a Simon Lang film at that point.
It was so much fun. We shot in 5.5 days, a whole film. Basically, everything you see is in the film, and it was just and nobody ever done this kind of film before, including me, of course. And it's like, okay, it's student filmmaking with a really huge fake penis. And a few tits. I mean, but it was just like, this is how we should work. You should, for example, any one of us here today, say, I have an idea, just go and do it. Just go and fucking do it. Don't wait for the Canadian Board of Cinematography.
It's telefilm, and they will not give you any money.
Don't wait for this fucking... Look at us. Okay, I mean, in case you didn't notice, there's an energy happening with our Jameson, right? Why? No. I mean, no, it doesn't have to end up in boom boom. It might, but that's another story.
I want to know Chris Doyle's favorite Chinese film.
The
Period.
next one.
No, that exists. We'll say the next one, but like they currently.
And I'm not being facetious. I think you really have to say, if it's the same as why did this conversation go into this space?
Yeah.
Because this is someone who cares, you know, and it has to be about people. To me, they say. I mean, isn't it obvious how much you care? She does care.
She does care.
Yeah.
She
Absolutely.
cares so fucking much.
I know, but I don't know anything.
Either do I. That's okay.
Okay.
No, that's why we
Ignorance?
want us.
To ignorance?
No. To
Mine?
care. Are you kidding? Why do you think? Why do you think I threw the quote unquote ball in your park? Because this is what it's
You knew I
about.
would panic.
No, because we know, and people hopefully will share how much you care. And it doesn't matter what you know about film or not. It's so obvious how much you care. And how much you need, by the way.
How much I need?
Yeah. You know, which is the question that we started to talk about. The questions are the important thing. The questions are so, there's no answer. The film is not an answer. The Jameson is not an answer. The beer is not an answer. But the questions are so important. Look at you. I mean, there'll be many, many people online saying, oh my God, she really cares.
No.
Yeah, and she's really beautiful because she cares. Yeah. You're not beautiful because you're beautiful. You're beautiful because you care. And we care. So we care because you care. That's why you say, what's the next film? The next film is like tonight. I think it's this incredible conversation, this incredible engagement. I didn't know you just like 4 hours ago. We didn't know each other. Isn't that astonishing?
Yeah.
That actually life can actually inform how you live.
And the fact that we could do this without any help from TIFF at all.
Yeah.
They actively wanted this to not happen.
Look at you. Look at you. Now, do you realize how much more confident you've become in the last hour?
Good point.
Yes, you have.
No.
You know why? Because we care.
What do you care about?
Apart from your tits.
Just that? Oh, but what else is there? Really?
I feel like there's this showman that you do with that, and then there's something beneath that.
She knows that. I think the most astonishing thing about how we live is qi. Qi. Qi is a Chinese word which means energy. And then what has happened over the last hour is your qi has just risen so much because we care about you. And it's so beautiful to watch. And I think in filmmaking and I make films, okay, and in how people should be together, the only reason to be together is to be more than you would be alone. I really believe that. I think that's what films are about also, that you for example, just simple analysis. You saw us, you realize these are okay people, and you say, give them a few drinks, and they'll be more than okay people. Then, because you're giving us the drinks, then we become, what's the word, our I guess family in a certain way, or you have a certain relationship to it. Then we start to say this stuff, and you realize, hey, maybe they really care about me. Okay? Bang. Next, you're on TV. So what? The only reason you're on TV is because we want to learn more from you. Okay? Then you actually start to realize that we do care and that you have something to give us. Then, as we all do, you move to this level of confidence, which is so fucking fantastic. We can actually talk openly together. Yeah? And that's where we are right now. That you are
confident.
Yeah. You are who you are.
Doesn't mean I don't need a beer right now.
Exactly.
So have you shot anything digitally?
Yes, many.
What do you feel about that?
Wait for it to come back. I think it's the same as. Are you coming back or not?
Yeah. Don't worry.
Come back. No. This is important. You have to. No. Come. It's important. It's important.
Okay.
It's important that you're here.
Okay.
I think because this is very much about your generation.
Oh no, what is my generation?
Digital versus analog, 35 millimeter.
This means you're online or okay. Tell us, are you online all the time? But do you have a phone that you look at?
Yeah. When I'm not at my house.
I think this is it. I mean, I come. He's asking me as a quote unquote.
You've mentioned online so many times, like in the cab, online, to Jian, online. Like it's online. Everything's online. Are you just acclimatizing to that?
No. I think we're sharing. This is what, by the way, again, without being facetious, this is why I want you to be involved in this, because you are part of something I don't know. And that's important. that again, the questions are the most important thing. There's no answer. No, the answer is the integrity, for example, of our conversation or of your interview. Whether or not I have integrity is another question. and I think that's really super important. The questions. So the questions come from kids who are in my world in China. I mean, people are 97% of what they see is digital.
Yeah.
They don't even look at the real world.
Yeah.
Because they're always online. You know? So therefore they have a different visual resonance. They have a different way of viewing the world. And they will teach us how they view the world. Now, whether that's relevant or not is the next step. It's exactly the same as, you know, whether the financial crisis is going to pass or not. You know, it's all whatever. What do you call it? It's all cyclical. You know, and the most important thing is to, first of all, to belong to the cycle in a certain way, but to be beyond the cycle. So in other words, Citizen Kane was regarded as a piece of shit when it was released.
And Vertigo.
Yeah. You know, so again, you're not going to change the color of your hair just because, you know, because pink said, you know, because you want to be pink, right? Right? No, but it's the same thing. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go Botox tomorrow? Of course not. Because you have to be, and you worry about your nose. Yeah. Yes, of course. But if you changed it, it wouldn't be you, right? And this is it. And I think this is it. That we have to have an integrity of what we do. And don't worry about the changes of fashion and stuff like that. I think our job is to be a beautiful woman, to be a person of integrity, to be an eclectic filmmaker.
I'm glad you mentioned integrity.
Yeah.
But as a cinematographer, don't you ever, like, you don't have control over the integrity of the project? Like, is that not a tension that you feel?
Yes, that's an eclectic moment we're going through. But
like, it's the master and the commander, right? Like some projects, you can kind of lead the charge. Other ones, maybe not.
this is a very good question. This is exactly what's going on. It is. So why the fuck would you ask Christopher Doyle to do this film and then give somebody else the visual control?
Yeah.
And it's at the moment it's a gray space, and it's a bit of a mess. I think ultimately people realize that if you don't have the voice, who's going to sing?
But I have a question, which is your latest film with Peter Chan. I was talking to a friend of mine, Sam. He was saying that the Hollywood Reporter had said that this was not a Christopher Doyle looking film, and you were upset at this. But like, what is a Christopher Doyle looking film? Is it the step printing of Wong Kar-wai? Is it something else? How do you deal with people's expectations of what you're going to do on every project?
You deal with your expectations of yourself.
Yeah.
That's more important, as we are doing today. That as in this interview, and I think the questions are more important. Again, that's what I'm saying. I mean, look at this incredible pleasure that we're having, sharing something with somebody who obviously cares about what she does. What more do you want in life? I don't want any more. I don't give a shit about the films. I'm much more...
Is that something with Tormented? Did you not care about Tormented?
I don't give a shit about the films. What is happening now is much more important
Yeah.
in my life. Isn't that
You
obvious?
you don't give a shit about your film?
No. I give a shit about what's happening now between us. Isn't that astonishingly beautiful? That you know what it's about.
I want to know.
No. Okay, so again, whether it's what you do and your research and the way in which you apply yourself to what you do, and then the bullshit that you have to go through every night in a bar.
That's good though. That's the bullshit in the bar every night. That's good.
I'm putting the three of them together.
Okay.
Give me one more. And then me being up, jet lag like I'm crazy because I just came in, and pushing Super Can to do something. And isn't it astonishing that we realize actually all three of us in our different ways have the same commitment to something. Now, his commitment to cleaning her dress. Isn't that astonishing? That you actually realize we're the same kind of people. Okay, now, my privilege, actually, all of our privilege, you have the privilege, you can put it into words, or you have the privilege that you can actually share it with people every night in a bar. I have the privilege that perhaps some people will see what I'm talking about. That's it. We just have, well, we're doing the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're doing exactly the same thing. Now, the only thing that matters is how do we get there? First of all, we're lonely, so we have to talk. That's why the three of us are talking.
Very lonely.
Yeah, we know. You really need the encouragement of others. Secondly, we need to get there somehow. Is that, again, through love or through
Art.
complicity? No, art doesn't matter. It's being who you are. And that's the biggest challenge. How do you get to be who you are?
What I want to know about is the future of Hong Kong cinema. You were talking about it before, like this return, this youthful return.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think it's me. Being as unpretentious as I am, I think it's me. I think it's that I'm kind of excited that we have this balance between money and intent, between fame and fortune, and we should embrace that. I really think that's it. Shanghai is very much like that. It's very much about money and
You have an installation there too, right?
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
bunding, yeah.
I don't know, maybe. And then all that stuff's going on, all the money and the intent and the which is great. I mean, don't forget Chinese society. How many thousand years before, they haven't had this privilege. And then people like me and Ai Weiwei and Super Ken and a few others.
Zhang.
Yeah. Maybe actually our time is coming, because how much luxury can you have? How much, And I actually am extremely positive about the future of Chinese cinema. It's going through this super period of box office, typical, and the incursions from Hollywood and all this stuff, everyone just wanting to make their buck, which is fine, it's good. I mean, it's great. It happened finally in Chinese society. And then we know, since there's so many Chinese people, some of them are waiting for what we want to tell.
The seventh generation?
Yeah, I don't know if you call it the seventh generation or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But I really, and I think you see a little bit of it here, not particularly in my work, but in Yang Fudong's work. Hey, we've got stuff to share. It's okay. We can wait. We're Chinese. We understand, time, and the time is coming very soon. I think that's. I think that's the pleasure of Chineseness, that this period, for example, of my films, it's just a short period in Chinese film history. There's more to come. There's a lot more to come. And I'm very proud of that. Maybe, if you get arrogant, you say, maybe I'm part of what's to come. If you get less arrogant, you say, well, this is another form of Chineseness. That's how it works.
What is that form?
Organic.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's organic. It's reciprocal. I think it's intuitive. Chinese people are survivors, especially Chinese women. I know.
So you started in Taiwan, though. Do you want to work with Hao Heshen or Tsai Ming Wang?
I don't know. I don't think they know what to do with me. Actually.
Yeah, I think it would be good because they don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, you have in any culture you have a certain arrogance and you have a certain. I just think they don't know what to do with me. To be blunt.
Well, what about American filmmakers like Gus Van Sant or Jim Jarmusch?
They don't know what to do with me either.
How did you, of all people, get roped into the Psycho remake? I mean, where you have this very specific thing that you have to do. Like, you have all of these rules you have to play
that was
by.
the perfect... Because I rejected making American films for so long.
Yeah.
And I said, this is perfect. So first there was Gus, who was an old friend, although we hadn't worked together.
And a great filmmaker.
Yeah, and he's such a gentle person. Secondly, it's like, I knew the producer, so we'd be protected from the studio system. And thirdly, all I have to do is make it in black and white, on color. It used to be in black and white, now I have to make it in color. So actually, and the only big problem for me was that I was living like a kilometer away from the studio, but I don't know how to drive. So I used to get, they didn't believe me because it's America, right? Yeah. I would literally end up in Pasadena. I didn't know. I was literally 1 kilometer away from the studio. I would end up in Pasadena because I didn't know how the fuck to get off the freeway because I'm not used to driving. So that was the biggest challenge. Actually, driving was the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
On Psycho, nothing else.
I really love the film, though. Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah. What about something like Zhang Yimou's Hero? He's like an established filmmaker, but that's like maybe a bigger film. Like, it's already academically, the importance is kind of in an earlier period, and this was kind of the breakthrough for Western audiences. What do you think about those big films, like those like big productions.
Well, they're getting bigger and bigger as we speak. Hero to me is the most astonishing experience ever. It's a film in color about color. So what more can you want as a cinematographer? It's like, wow. This is what it's about. It's about color. And the process, again, and I hope you're going to have a look at the installation here. The process is the process.
Yeah.
The process is actually, we didn't know which colors go where until we found the space that belonged to those colors. Which means we knew that there were certain stories, but again, until you, and I think that's the wonderful thing about Chinese filmmaking. The organic process is about, so we didn't know where we're going to shoot the white part until we found the white in the middle of Xinjiang. We didn't know where the green was until we found it in Sichuan. And I think that's very, 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 very important. And I think that's what my Away with Words installation tries to talk about. Is the process is what makes the film. So style doesn't come from an intellectual.
Yeah.
In the Western world, it comes from an intellectual appropriation, for example, of Fritz Lang, of whatever stylistic stuff from whatever. It comes from as we know, in when people produce a commercial, they say they have all these references. But I think the real films come from the space in which they're shot. For example, even in the West, you have films like The Third Man, shot in the subterranean Venice, in the underworld of Venice. Or you have, I guess even now, the new Linklater films, Midnight in Paris.
You like them? Yeah.
I didn't say I like them. I'm saying they're references
To a
for
space.
how a space.
Yeah.
Of course, in Western terms, the most important is Manhattan.
What about Lisbon?
Yeah.
Have you seen Pedro Costa's film?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the White City, I don't know if you know the film.
Yeah.
So I think this is it. I think that a space really does inform how the style doesn't come from us, it comes from the space itself. So the great films, as you say, Lisbon, in the White City, Manhattan, even the Bellatar films.
I love Bellatar.
Yeah, they come from the space, not from our style. So the style is actually informed by the space in which we work. As I think the conversation is informed by the people you talk to. So it has to be organic. As I think she enjoyed being with us. So why?
And Teshikahara, Antonio Gaudi,
Yeah.
right? Like it's all about the space.
Yeah. Okay. Why are you moving over there?
Finagle.
About time.
Yeah, right? See? He knows.
I have to go soon though. What time is it now?
We're good.
Good, I think we covered a lot.
No, but we have more time. You have 4:34? Yeah.
I have to talk to Soup again.
I'm curious about what is next. Like you keep mentioning the next film, the next film, the next film, the next film. What's the next film?
The next film is the films that the kids care about. I think that's what I try to say. Who am I to tell you what filmmaking is about, since it's evolving so eclectically at the moment? I think that's important. So, okay, so what if I have a certain status in film? Who gives a fuck? I still don't know what we should be doing. You should tell me. I think that's important. Because you have the hunger, you have the need, you have the physical experience, you have the space. I think it's extraordinary, that actually people dare to ask me to engage in that with them, and I'm very proud of that. Now, I know there's two reasons. One is everyone knows I'm very fast and I can get things done. Secondly, at the moment, it seems like if my name is attached, then people are more confident about the film will actually get done. Then, bang, so we got those two basics down, and then we go in there with young kids who don't know what the fuck they're doing and are trying to do something that nobody ever heard of before, and we do something special. Bang. What more do you want in life,
Magic? Is that, what was that experience like?
Yeah, it's a bit like that. So you go in there, and I think that I'm proud that my name has a certain resonance for the money. But then I'm even more proud that people are not afraid to engage with me. They're not afraid I'm going to take over the film. They know that I'm going to come in as a collaborator. And that's it. What more do you want? So we got the money in place, and then we got the collaboration, working how as well as it can be. So it's very exciting to me as a filmmaker that we can make 4 or 5 films a year with young filmmakers, 20, 30 days maximum, limited budget, perhaps, I won't say it's a new wave, but it is a new wave. It's a new, what's the word? It's a new assessment of what how films should be made, and I think that's what we have to do. Why wait for the Canadian government to give you money? Why don't you just do your thing on YouTube? I was talking to some people from the Australian Film Institute. They said we don't even talk to somebody unless they've been preparing for 4 years. So even if you're like 20 years old and you prepare films for 4 years, that means you're only going to make like 6 films in your whole lifetime. I've made 70 films. I'm making 5 or 6 films a year. Fuck you. Fuck you and your institutions. Just get on with it. And if you have ideas, this is the great thing about YouTube and all these other, if you have ideas that work, people will respond to them. It's just, okay, we're in a special period of cinema history, so how do you get people to respond to what you do?
Yeah.
This is it. Okay? How do you create the space, for your own work? And it's eclectic, but you have to be creative. You can't wait for the Canadian Film Board to give you money, because it won't happen. Because they're bureaucratic. Not just the Canadians, the Australians or whatever, the French, whatever. So why do you want to wait? Why don't, if you have something to say, just go out there and say it. Fuck them, right? And if you have nothing to say, people will realize, right? If what you're saying is not interesting, then people will respond, and then you make actually, oh shit, I should have thought of this in a different way. This is astonishing. I think this is an astonishing period of film history, or communication history, whatever you call it, that actually we can have ideas that we can communicate quite. So therefore, onions, yeah, or whatever, or you want to talk about your it's such an astonishing period. That actually we can have direct access to people so quickly with so limited funds. So don't wait to make a feature film. Just get out there. When you make your own stuff on YouTube, then people will come running to you. That's what's happening. People will come to you because they realize you have ideas. Once you have ideas, the rest is, and that's what the West, especially the Western world, is lacking at the moment, is ideas. That's why you have Fast and Furious 6, Spider-Man 7, whatever. Because they've run out of ideas. The good thing is in Asia, because we're all living so closely together, the stories never end. That's the big difference, I think. Because everyone's living so intimately. And everything is so fucked up. And everything is so personal that, of course, there's stories that come out of it.
Thank you, Gus.
I should go.